G'day, mate. Now, this is from about a year ago. It's called the crossover resonator muffler. The base of this muffler here is the bottom of a an aerosol can of Aerostart, or Start You Bastard. So the design was meant to focus the exhaust to bounce off this sonic waves and reverberate back into the exhaust port to keep the next charge of fuel as much as you can into the exhaust, and then let the exhaust gases out. So basically to keep the sound inside. Now I started thinking about this. I've been doing a lot of research on expansion pipes on two-stroke motorbikes. So I thought, what if we could do it a different way? What if we can cheat? So most mufflers you'll see, I'll try and draw it on the spot. Most mufflers you'll see, you have a small exhaust pipe, they'll get wider. Depends where your motor is and all that crap. So you have a little part here where it comes out the exhaust. Your motor will sit here. So it has to come around the front, gets wide, certain length, and comes back down narrow again. And goes a small outlet to, behind your bum somewhere. Normal on a motorbike. But there's certain lengths, designs. It's all to do with displacement, stroke, temperature. There's a lot of things going involved in that. But with chainsaws, we've got a real estate issue, so we don't have much room. So this is looking down on the chainsaw. So if we're looking down that way, so I'm looking above. So what my idea would be, so we have the same sort of base, like an aerosol can, the base like that. We've got the exhaust port, so where it comes out the muffler, or where the motor should say. So it's at the top of the cylinder with the cooling fins are, like that. Choose my great draw on it. So that's where the exhaust comes out. So my idea, I'll just have my little slips, old man slips. It depends on where you are. So if your dog's on your log spikes come out to about here, that's your real estate as far as you can go. So you can only determine your length unless you buy bigger dogs. Some stores got bigger dogs. It's all you can do. You can't go any further than that. Width-wise is how wide you are. So the width of where your cylinder and all that crap. So you're based on what your width of where your chain brake is or covers and stuff like that. So you can't really go any wider, or you can't go much taller either. So you're stuck with the basics of real estate. So I thought, all right, if we can determine the width and work out basically like front on how big the circle can be at the front of the motor, that's front on. So looking above again, I was thinking, in my weird mind, the way it works now, I'll tell you guys, you have a stroke, your mind works differently. So where the exhaust comes out, you have a tube coming down like that, a funnel, come down. I'd say a quarter of an inch all the way around. So a quarter of an inch. So you'd have a funnel like that. And that funnel would let the exhaust expand, but when it hits this dome dish here, that would cause the sound waves to vibrate back. But here is where I think it might work. I'm not sure if it will, but hopefully when it will and it gets better, I'll try and do something like this out. Now, this dome bit here, I'll bring it back up to here, roughly like that, and we'll shut. So the gases will come out like that, or sound will come out like a sort of sound wave like that, hit that and vibrate back on an angle and back into it. But the exhaust will come out at a different speed, so the exhaust has to go somewhere. So the outlet would be either side. I'd say about 10:30, 1:30 on the clock, I suppose. So closely up the top, I have two outlets and weld pieces of metal here somewhere like that on the sides, just to let the exhaust out. So the exhaust has to go down, hit the dome at the bottom, spin it back around, come up here, hit the 90-degree, go back around that way. So it's got plenty of flow. These pipes here can be as big as you want or big as what you can fit, but it's all to do with the exhaust coming out. So as it comes flying down, the sonic charge comes down, and normally this would have a straight piece of tube, like that section there, straight there. But we don't have room for that in these exhaust pipes. On chainsaws don't have room like motorbike. So it's just, unless you want to race, but I want to make a muffler that works and gives you room where you can and cannot have power when you can have power. Most of the time, saws work their power about 10,000 revs, so if it's designed for that. So as the exhaust comes out, the sonic wave hits this, gets focused back inside, goes back in, hopefully hits the exhaust and puts an extra charge back inside the or the wasted, any fuel all over wasted out here will throw the fuel net back in because of the cone. The exhaust itself can come out, hit this, and it'll find its way out because it has to go somewhere. And I'm thinking probably aluminium or stainless steel, probably aluminium to make it light as possible. Now I can do AC/DC welding, but that's what I'm thinking. Come down like that, bounce or focus it back into the curve like that, and we should see the difference. But I have noticed this. If you look it up, the videos about a year old. It's called a crossover resonator muffler. I'll do another few videos on this. It's going to be sold soon, but it's interesting. To use this, it's a gun muffler. There's nothing inside of it. It's an empty can. But the way it works, this pipe here, I was watching the video. A pipe's right at the back of the muffler. This one's at the front, and they're both angled in towards each other. So the guys get to the fighting against each other the whole time. But you know, it's one of these things. I'm trying to make the best of the world where I can. But this is what I want. I want a. It's almost you look at it, because the exhaust fumes have to go around the side. It's almost a valve where it has to come down, and the valve shuts it back up again. But the exhaust can get out where it needs to. So the cone's a circle, the whole thing around. The edges here will be a complete circle on the outside. So if I'm looking from the front there, this cone part here will be like that, and this dome is the outside edge will come back in towards the center dome, so it comes back in. So the cone in the middle is slightly smaller than the dome on the outside. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully I'll get time, money, and muck around, because these things aren't cheap to muck around and do stuff. But I've been looking at that. I wonder if it can be done. Which saw I probably would go with steel. This steel's got a more charge that comes out the front exhaust, where Husqvarna's more of an angle down that way. So you want something which spits straight out the front, so it doesn't interfere with the dome. Also set up, but I'm thinking about doing this. Probably doing the Neotech. I'd say the NS 892, I think, because it's probably got more room practicality wise. But I still find steel and stuff like that. But anyway, that's my thought on this. But not sure what I'll call this thing. But it probably just a cone muffler. It's being getting the cone. But yeah, cone muffler. All right, guys, over and out.